I don't know, I stopped measuring too early. Apparently I grew a little more than I thought, so apparently I've been 6'4" the whole time without knowing it. But yeah, I used to play a little basketball. I was never that good, but played some in school.
Because all the pictures you have, you're standing next to Ned Luberecki, and you're standing next to, I think, somebody else on your website.
Oh, yeah.
And you're just towering over these people.
Well, they're also really short. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, it's true. I've had some tall people in the band, though. Steve Huber played banjo with me for a while, and he's taller than I am. I thought we should have formed a basketball team.
Yeah.
That old tradition. Bill Monroe used to have a baseball team when he traveled back in the 40s and did 10 shows. I thought, hey, the Bluegrass basketball team.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds pretty cool. Now, I just came up with a good name for the basketball team, by the way. How about the Alberta Clippers?
Like it.
Awesome. Now, the reason why we have you on doorstopnation.com is because of the IBMA Awards, and we're going to be having the IBMA Awards on Christmas Day, actually, on the website. And now, there's a spoiler for everybody listening. Chris Jones here does win 2 awards. And
don't tell him which 2. Okay, no.
Yeah, okay, we're going to keep them secret, but one of them is one of the reasons why Sirius 65 is the best radio station, maybe in the history of radio stations, because, you know, I've been starving pretty much for bluegrass music on the radio. All I can get is on the internet, and, you know, the internet cuts out, and you can't really listen to the internet while laying down reading a book, you know.
Right.
But Sirius 65, 24/7, which is interesting because back before Sirius 65, all you had here in St. Louis was only 4 hours per week of bluegrass music, and that's it.
And a lot of places in the country have less than that. I mean, some people get by on a half an hour a week, and yeah, I mean, I was telling some people at Sirius's main offices in New York, so I don't know if they understand, you know, exactly how starved people were for it. But I thought, you know, 20 years ago, we were sitting around thinking, man, wouldn't it be great if someday we could listen to bluegrass 24 hours a day, anytime we wanted to? And, you know, probably the response would be, oh, that'll never happen. But, yeah, it has.
It has. And, you know, it's pretty awesome. You were in the Sirius studios last week, right? Yeah.
I was kind of passing through there, and actually hadn't been there since I did the Conan O'Brien show. It was the last time I'd been in New York, and had a chance to visit the home office, so I always enjoy that.
That's pretty cool. And did you see anybody like Howard Stern or Martha Stewart or anything?
I looked around for them, but you know, they were nowhere to be found, and Howard and Martha never seemed to return my phone calls. So
that's a tragedy.
I was looking around for them, but I didn't see them. But
now, usually you do the show from the Nashville studios, right?
Yes.
But lately you've been doing this from the Northern Alberta studios, which, by the way, is my favorite studios. I got to ask you a question. How do you do the show in Northern Alberta?
Well, it's I just have a kind of a mobile setup that I use, and I'm able to send through the beauty of satellites and high-speed internet and all that. And so yeah, it's a fairly simple setup, but I'm glad that Sirius is, you know, makes it possible for me to do that, because I know that's it's just so easy for me. Plus, you know, as a touring musician, to be able to do stuff from the road. I mean, we've done shows from Norway and different places. So
yeah, you're saying about it before. Like you had a show in, I would say, Indiana or something like a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
And you said you were there, and which you always find interesting because you're always at different places, and like especially in Northern Alberta. And since it's radio, and I'm listening. Usually I listen pretty much every day. I usually visualize where you're at. Like I picture you're like in a log cabin somewhere, and there's a bunch of trees, right?
Pretty close, you know. I am in a snow-covered area here. It's not a log cabin, but there's a beautiful prairie view where I am. In fact, last year when I was up here, there were 7 moose just hanging around pretty close to this house, and I haven't seen them around this year, but they were just close by. I got a pretty good picture of them. But yeah, it's a beautiful spot, and this is what's known as the Peace Country, where the Peace River flows, and there's a combination of sort of prairies into rolling hills and sort of river valley. It's pretty nice if you can stand a little cold. That's the downside.
That's right. You know, I think the best broadcasters, like you do it a lot, and I don't know myself. I'm only 20, but the best broadcasters always describe where they like paint a picture for the listener. I think that's great. You know.
Oh, I appreciate that. Well, just to give you the temperature update, it's just about 20 degrees, so that's fairly balmy for up this way. So
wow. I wonder what it is here in St. Louis. I don't know. Wow, it's 20 degrees. I figured it'd be like 0. Or,
well, it has.
Are you in Celsius or?
You know, yeah. Well, 0. Let's see, Celsius right now. It's about -5.
I see.
But
okay.
it's. Oh no, that's not right. No, it's. I'm looking at the wrong. I think it's about -7.
Okay.
But yeah, it has been down. It was down to close to -30 Celsius, which is getting to be cold.
Yeah, it's pretty cold. That is. And now, wow, going to Canada, and you always go to Canada and Nashville and go to different places. Now, the first time I listened to you, though, you said you were in a car driving to northern Alberta. How did you DJ Sirius doing the show while driving?
That was a little. That's kind of a direct way. Don't do that very often, but fortunately they can play the music out of the main studio, and yeah, so I didn't have to have our entire library with me in the car or anything like that. But
you should be like, here's some Tom T. Turn it up and you're playing in your car, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see, I haven't done it too often, but I did a show on a ferry in British.
Hello?
And did a show on the ferry, and then did one from the car. Did one in Ned's car coming back from Winfield.
Well, that one must have been interesting. You could have done like...
Yeah, it was. But usually I prefer the studio's a little easier to work in.
I bet. You guys, in the studio, you have Gwendolyn, correct?
What's that?
Yeah, you and Gwendolyn in the studio,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Back in Nashville.
Yeah, and now, I was listening to the Halloween episode, by the way, and I want to say that Gwendolyn dressed up as Frankenstein or something, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And you dressed up as String Bean, right?
String Bean, yes.
Yes.
It wasn't too big a stretch for me, but I had to get that long shirt, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We usually try to have fun on Halloween. I mentioned that day that I entered a Bluegrass Halloween costume contest one year. Mm-hmm. Ron Stewart and I went as Jim and Jesse, and I was Jim. Jim was the taller of the two, and but we'd actually gotten a hold of their real jackets, and we were trying to get our hair to be as close to Jim and Jesse as possible. We didn't win the contest, but it was.
Wow, how can you not win? You know.
Yeah.
Now, on to some good fun stuff here. On your website, it says that you have not slept since 1989. How are you alive?
Yeah, it's a secret. I'll put a book out someday on that.
You should. That'd be awesome. Another thing,
it's kind of a joke because I juggle so many things with the Sirius program and with my touring and one thing and another. I'm a little busy.
You're a little busy, I guess, and you're also a morning and a nighttime person, right?
No, that is true. I could easily have a job where I got up at 5 in the morning, but I also work well at night. It's the afternoons where I'm useless. I'm glad that Joey Black does the afternoon shift.
Yes.
I can drive all night, which is one of the reasons we came up with the Night Drivers band name.
Nice.
If I was ever in bands who were doing a night shift, I was usually pretty good at the night stuff, but you put me behind a wheel between 1 and 4 in the afternoon, and it's dangerous.
It's dangerous. Yeah.
I should move to Mediterranean country because the siesta system is perfect for me. Taking a nap in the afternoon.
And wow, what time actually you did the show during the afternoon? I believe because Joey Black because you were in the IBMA Awards that night, and Joey did your.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, and which is kind of weird because I came home after my work. I came home and I turned the Sirius. I'm like, wait a minute, it's 2 o'clock. What the hell is Chris Jones doing on the radio?
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, we had to switch around. So I had missed the show in the past, so it was my turn, especially since I actually had to present and do some things.
Yeah, and notice you're always there every day.